Alright guys, just a quick update on the fry. This is the 75 gallon from the darker looking female with more black on her. For some reason, all of a sudden, I don't know what's going on. It looks like their top fin was either down or eroded away. I'm like, what's going on? They look like their tails were getting thickened, like white looking. So I took a few of them out and put them on my microscope and looked at them. And they looked like they had like all red streaks in the tails and some on the body, like red. And I saw little worms hanging off of them here and there. They look kind of like leeches almost. They would stay like a certain height, then stretch out like an inchworm. And almost everyone I took out had that on it, so I treated it with praziquantel, and I'm taking them out now, and I don't see them on it anymore. But I'd have to say, probably about 40 of them died, and they haven't died in a day. I don't know what's going on. I put praziquantel, like I said, in here, and I also put some ick medication, the ick cure by Mardell in here. Seemed to help too. I didn't put any antibiotic in yet. They do have, like I said, the red streaks on them, but like I said, they haven't died in 24 hours, and that's maybe a good sign. I don't know. And it's only this tank. I don't know why, from this one female. I have no idea, but I did put the pond fish in here, and then I moved them into this tank, and I did see them kind of scratching a little bit, so I just treated all the tanks for those worms. And maybe, I don't know, maybe something from the pond got in here. I don't know. But as of right now, I have no idea. It just sucks. I may lose them all, who the heck knows, because I do see a couple in here now that look like, if you look close, their tails look kind of thickened, looking like white. Don't know what's going on. Let me take you over here. This is their mother. I got her in this 10-gallon tank. Well, you're not going to see it because the ISO's got to be bumped way up. And she had, if you look at the base of her tail, it's a kind of frayed. I had her in with the, I guess the ones from the pond, the 3-inch Sonky Gold babies, and they kept pecking at her tail, pecking at her tail. Sooner or later, it got all ripped up and got all red. I mean, it looks like it's under control. I got her in, like I said, this little 10-gallon. It's the only tank I have left, and I have, I don't even know what I did. I think with this tank, I put a tablespoon of salt per gallon for like 7 or 8 days with kanamycin, and it looks like it's clearing up. I took the salt out because you're not supposed to leave it that strong for that long. And actually, when I took the salt out, she got better. So, we'll see. I have her under quarantine. That's one thing. Going nuts. Let me see this tank. Now, I remember using the nets between tanks, but as I did it, I would put it in hot water. Like, as hot as it could be, like 125 degrees. It may not kill bacteria, but it probably would have killed the worms that were in that 75 gallon when I went from tank to tank. I'm looking in here. I don't see any of them with it. And the funniest thing, before it all happened, the fish that are sick and dying were in this 40 gallon. Let me lower the ISO a little bit. They were in this 40 gallon, and what I did was I took some of the fish that I thought looked nicer with black and orange, and I kind of wanted to separate them so they could eat good and everything from the gang. And I put about a dozen in here. I don't know if you'll even see them. And these guys are doing fine. So I'm thinking this tank's not contaminated. because these guys are doing fine. So it had to be something with putting the fry that are in this 75 were in here, and then I put them into the 75, and then about probably a week or so later, let me lower this up. I would say a week or so later, they all started to get all this stuff on them. So I don't know what's going on. It could have been in this tank. It's just a bummer. It's always something. I'm not too worried. You know, if it goes to the other tanks, I'll be really worried. But if it stays here and I lose these, you know, that's what it is. I tried my best with medications and stuff. The only thing I could do is maybe throw an antibiotic in there, but I don't think that's going to work. But, and you could see them, like this one right here. Let me see if it'll focus. You can see he's kind of all like, don't look normal to me. He looks like his head looks swollen, like thicker looking. And they get kind of like, the way they swim don't look right, like they're hard to swim. Here he is. Right there. Of course the camera never focuses on it. And they just don't look right, and they kind of just get worse and worse and waste away. Honestly, I never saw anything like it before. But like I said, when I put them under the microscope, you could see what's going on, if there's any parasites or anything on them. And they did have the worms, but the red streaks and patches on the whole body, I don't know what's going on with that. Could it be from when they had the worms? I don't know. Could it be a bacteria infection? Who the heck knows? I was reading about it, and if it is a bacterial infection, and I think they call it red streak or something, I forgot what they call it. They say you have to treat them by putting the antibiotic in the food. Now, I crush up pelleted food like dust. How the heck would you put antibiotic in that? It's like almost impossible. I mean, you can mix water in it and put some antibiotic in it, but by the time it gets into the tank and they eat it, it's all going to come out. So, there's not much you can do. I mean, if it was big fish, you absorb it into the pellets, and there's some in there till it's like really absorbed in and they get it. With these, you really can't medicate them. And they say it don't work if you just put it in the water, so they gotta eat it. So I'm at a loss there. But it's not all fun and games when you're breeding fish. All of a sudden, they're a little over 2 months old, and all of a sudden they were doing real good, and then boom, like in one day, they all started dying of something stupid. But I thought I'd keep you updated. You know, you gotta show the bad with the good, and this is bad. Honestly, I don't even expect them to make it in this tank. And hopefully, like I said, it don't go into them other tanks. Because if it does, I don't know what I'm going to do. Alright guys, I'll leave you with this. Wish me luck on these guys.